Hey, good morning guys, how are we doing? Monday morning. So we've got through the weekend, at least I hope you did, and we've got this run down to Friday now, which is basically when the challenge ends. So you're an old hand at this by now, as I've said in a few videos. You don't necessarily need the motivation not to drink tonight, but what we're gonna do, as this is a light version of the 30-day sprint, we're going to cover a few of the concepts which you've probably noticed that we've been doing the last few days in the program. Again, we're not going to go too deep here. It's just a YouTube video. It's just Sober October, isn't it? So we're going to go over some of the core principles. So as we come into this downward slope into Friday, when we finish on the 31st, what I want to do is get a little bit reflective, and I want you to think about your life. And I want you to think about your life without alcohol. And I don't know where you are in your life journey or what stage of life you're at, whether you're, you might be in your 70s watching this, you might be in your 30s watching this, I don't know. But I'm in my 40s and I have made a lot of mistakes along the way with alcohol. And this is the whole reason I set this program up, is I want to help people avoid the same mistakes I did, or if they're in the kind of pain that I was in, the kind of shit that I put myself in, then there is somebody that can guide them out and can give you a leg up. Because what took me years to pull myself out of, we can shrink down just to a couple of months for you. So if you can imagine, if you're in a bit of a bad spot at the moment and you're not really seeing a way out from the alcohol, then you're probably only about 3 months away from a major life change. Now it's going to be a difficult 3 months, but yeah. Anyway, look, some of the issues that I faced, and I know that I'm asking you to reflect, but I'm just going to give you some ideas, because I had kind of all sorts of outward trappings and things that made me look quite successful. As I said in one of these videos many years ago, when I was young, I was DJing, I was, very popular, I guess. Then I moved into a more sort of corporate sales world, as I just didn't, there wasn't any money in DJing really, and it would, the lifestyle would have killed me anyway. But then I set up my own business and then, really started drinking. So I had a business in central London, staff, the whole kind of shooting match really. And because of drinking pretty much, I had a great girlfriend at the time, and you look back and you never know kind of how good you had it until it sort of disappears. So all of that ended up going away through drinking. So the business went under, lost the girlfriend, ended up having a flat in central London, moving to some town. I ended up moving to a town called Oxford, which is, it sounds lovely, especially if you're an American, you think, oh, Oxford's lovely, but it's actually a bit of a dump, and sharing a house with students. So I had a real kind of financial collapse and a whole life collapse really, that was a total change of identity. So what I want for you is to avoid all of this. So reflect on your life, reflect on what you have now. Be grateful for what you have, and if you feel that you've lost a lot along the way, it can always get worse. So whatever your stage of life you're at now, whatever's happening, we need to put the brakes on it now with alcohol. We need to stop, or we need to put the brakes on it by stopping alcohol. We don't need to add alcohol to put the brakes on, but we need to put the brakes on by removing alcohol from your life. Now, I was going to say maybe comment below, but that's probably a little bit personal, isn't it? Why don't you write something down yourself on where you are in life? What can you lose through keeping drinking, and what can you perhaps gain by stopping drinking? And these would be probably very different things. So what you could lose your wife by continuing to drink. You could lose your relationship with your kids if you continue to drink. But if you remove alcohol from your life, then you could probably get a promotion at work, you could probably double the turnover of your business, these sort of things. So things that are going to motivate you. But yeah, have a think and be a bit reflective about where you are, especially now that we're, neck deep in this challenge and we're only a few days away. It finishes this week. And this is the moment within the 30-day sprint where we start to this is where the conversations around identity change come in, because you've managed to do basically a month. We're coming up to that month mark, and you have proved to yourself that you can actually do this. You've proved to yourself that you can get this far. So if you've done that and nobody died, it's not the end of the world, things have probably improved, you didn't really miss out on anything that you thought you were going to miss out on. Sure, there was a little bit of short-term pain as you perhaps didn't know what to do with yourself on some evenings, but you can see that change is very, very possible. And you didn't used to be this kind of drinker. When you started, you would just have a couple and that was fine. So that person is still there. What the program aims to do is get you back to that person, because that person will come out again. So if you don't particularly like the person that you're seeing in the mirror every morning, then the good news is that person doesn't have to stick around. That person can go. You can get that person out of your life, and you can bring back that old you that, had that fire, had that desire to do things, and had a zest for life. That person will come back. Now, are you going to feel like you're 18 again? No, probably not. Maybe, but probably not. But it's going to be a hell of a sight better than where you are at the moment. And with this identity change, the key thing really is momentum. So if you can continue beyond October, things start compounding and things start stacking, and real kind of magic can happen. And if you want, at the end of this week, Saturday is the 1st of November, if you want to go back to drinking, that's on you, that's up to you. As I said, it's a bit of a controversial thing that I say, but if you want to go back to drinking on the 1st of November, then that would be completely up to you. I don't recommend it, but I'm not your dad. I'm not here to make you do things. I can lead the horse to water, but you've got to drink, pardon the pun. I didn't think that one through, did I? Anyway, look, this is going to do it for Monday, I think. The theme for this week is reflection and some home truths, things like that. So I want you to be in that headspace, especially now you're a lot clearer. Hopefully you're eating a bit better. The kind of worst of it's out the way, and it's now, the sprint's over and the marathon can kind of begin. So I want you to be in this headspace. And as I say in all of these videos, I'm super proud of you. You're doing really well. Everyone in your life that should be proud of you is proud of you. And as always, I will see you tomorrow.